Welcome to Pixel Pickers, the podcast for players picking the pixels that pack a punch. This is Jarvis.
And my name's Josh.
All right, so we are just going to get right into it this week with a big episode to start us out because we have a big, no, at least big announcement, if not big release coming. The Switch 2. We're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct coming on April. Which day is it, Josh?
April 2nd's the date. It should be, I think it's like 10 a.m. on April 2nd.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we were looking at. So yeah, let's just get right into it. We're going to be talking our predictions for the price, launch, trailers, and the launch date for the Switch 2. But before we roll into that, I think it's a good idea just to do a little get to know us with three questions. So, Josh, what would you say your favorite game?
That's very easy for me. It's definitely Metal Gear Solid 2. I've been playing it
Oh yeah.
effectively nonstop for 4 years. Oh, Jesus
Wow,
Christ.
I can't believe it's been that long. That's wild.
I mean, that's when 2001 was.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
About yourself?
Uh, for me, a game that's effectively just as old. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Played it originally on the Xbox, and I've had it on every platform in which it was available since then. Love it. Really holds up for me well, and has made me a constant fan of turn-based RPGs or oddly not turn-based but semi-turn-based
Yeah, I was gonna say
RPGs.
that game is not turn-based. Playing through it for like fully the first time this year, that game is not turn-based.
Well,
You can
you're
definitely
taking your turns.
Yeah, you're taking turns, but there's no like it doesn't show the order of the turns
No.
or anything. You don't know what initiative is. It's crazy.
Yeah,
A
very
lot of that
odd.
game is guesswork.
All right. So now, what was your first console? That you actually, maybe not owned, maybe someone in your family owned it, but you were the one. That was the one that you cut your teeth on.
So my primary console was 100% the PlayStation 1 because it's just as old as me actually. It also came out in 1994. I don't like that. I said I just came out in 1994. That
Yeah, that
sounded
was weird.
weird. Okay, but we're just going to keep moving past that.
Keep
And
rolling.
it just I can still go back and play that console nowadays, even though like the controls are janky for a lot of things. It still has that
Yeah.
retro like feel to it. To where like when you look at like PS3 era games, they're harder to go back to than I think a PlayStation 1 game because they look like they
Yeah.
just don't. They're like they look new-ish, but it's like oh, it's just a little muddy and just feels like it should be right, but it's not.
Exactly. Not a lot of games from that PS3 era really hold up as well in actuality versus how good they are in your mind. And for me, it was the SNES. Definitely had an NES in our house earlier than that, but I don't remember it at all. I do remember a lot of really bad times with Donkey Kong Country and Star Wars, Aladdin, Lion King, all of these platformers that ruined my life.
I was wondering if the I was gonna ask you if you played all the Disney platformers growing up.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. My mom was a big Mario fan, and my dad was a big difficult game fan. So those two things together combined for us to get every difficult platformer on the SNES.
So you were literally forged into a Souls player at a very young age.
Yeah, yeah. You just kind of keep going until you get it. Like that's all Souls is. It's not difficult. It's just you got to play at that game's pace.
Wa-
That's
Was
how the rest of these games are as well.
was the Star Wars game Super Star Wars?
Yeah, Superstar.
I played those when they came out on like PS4 when they did all the remasters leading up to the Battlefront 2, the EA one, or
Yeah,
the next gen ones, or whatever you want to call them. And I was
right.
like, these aren't actually that difficult. I think,
No, it's more difficult, at the time.
yeah. I mean, granted, I was playing on a PS4 controller instead of like the smaller little SNES controller. I could
Yeah.
definitely see that.
All right. And then bringing us back into the realm of Switch, what would you say your favorite Switch game was?
I mean, if we're just going, so if we're going by most hours, it's a tie. and it would be a
Okay.
tie between Monster Hunter Rise and Hades. But if I had to pick one, like if you gave me a gun, one bullet, and I had to shoot one, like execution style, Monster Hunter is getting shot every day of the week. Like Hades is a
Yeah.
perfect video game. I have no flaws with it other than it looks really bad on the Switch if you put it in docked mode. When it's not in docked mode, you can't
And
really
really
tell.
bad is just that it doesn't look nearly as good as it can when it's, undocked, oddly enough.
Yeah, it looks better undocked. It doesn't look like
Yeah.
the aspect ratio changes. It looks like they just stretched all the models and the lines are like fuzzy. And it's like I can actually tell
Yeah.
less of what's going on now. And now that I've played
Yeah.
Hades 2, I tried to go back to Hades 1 on my Switch. I'm like, this is dog water. This is filth for peasants. I like can't go back.
I still love them both, especially because Zag and Mel give really different play styles. So still really appreciate Hades 1, but I'm mostly playing that on the PlayStation now.
Yeah, I was mainly talking about graphics. Like game's still
Ah,
good. It's just looking at it after seeing Hades 2 running in 1440 at like 300 frames. I'm like, mm,
yeah,
art the
Josh
art the,
will say that he's not a graphics guy, but you will constantly hear him
I
referring
am
to graphics as trash or dog ass or ass trash.
yeah, of course. It really is like if the style doesn't look good in the format, it's really what it is for me. And it's like if it doesn't run well, that's really like,
Yeah,
if it looks like Deadly Premonition, that's fine with me. But if it runs like Deadly Premonition, that's a
yeah,
problem for me. You know what I'm
good point.
saying?
I feel that. And this is going to happen a lot with us just in terms of our personal tastes kind of lining up all the time. But yeah, I would absolutely go with Hades. Definitely not my most played on the Switch. That's going to be Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing both, but way more like great memories with Hades.
I think
So yeah,
Hades for me has the huge timer because I went back through it. Like originally, I did the first like playthrough when it came out and spent a lot of hours. So I sucked at it. But then when I went back before Hades 2 came out, the early access came out, I did everything all over again, like maxed out all the hearts. So I basically did like two 45-hour, 50-hour playthroughs. So that really just shows you
that's
how much
fair.
I spend on my Switch, though, if anything.
Yeah, yeah. I was definitely crushing a lot of Switch hours while I was on the boat. So it's just such a great console, and that's why we are very excited to be talking about the Switch 2 releasing. So we're going to gamify this a little bit because, and being the guys we are, we like to gamify everything. So we're going to go through four different categories as I listed out earlier, and we are going to list out uh, three games that we think are going to come out on launch, four trailers that we think are going to pop on this Nintendo Direct, which, given the March 27th Nintendo Direct, it's looking like there's probably not going to be as many game trailers on this one, but we'll see. We're going to list out our projected launch date for the Switch 2. Should be this year. If it's not, that would be absolutely insane. And our launch pricing for this 2, the second Switch.
And for full disclosure, this is our second time recording this podcast.
It
We've
sure is. There
it's
will be no surprises between us at this point.
well, I had to change some of mine actually because of that Nintendo Direct.
This is true. Yeah, I
Uh,
changed a couple of my guesses as well.
so we originally recorded this the day before the Nintendo Direct happened because we set a recording date. We're like, hey, we're have to record this day, and boom, and all of a sudden Nintendo's like, but what if we did a Direct that day? And
Yeah,
luckily, I planned ahead and decided to ruin the audio for the podcast, so we would have to re-record. It was a
exactly.
calculated thought, not a
Absolutely.
mistake.
Yeah, no, it was a planned obsolescence. I don't know. You made our stuff fall out of uh, relevance almost immediately, which was great. It worked out for us.
It worked out because my like shot in the dark with Tomodachi Life being announced as a
Yeah,
Switch 2
I did
game.
see that. That was pretty funny.
I was like, wow, that would have been great if we had released like that day. That would have been bad if we released it like the day after. Like, maybe I'll do a Tomodachi Life. And they're like, we knew about this for a week now.
Yeah, your guesses mean nothing to us at this point. Uh, Yeah, yeah, that was pretty funny. But I say let's just get right into it and kind of start with one of the quicker discussions on this. Let's go with price. Josh, where do you think price points coming out at for the Switch 2?
So with price or right rules, it's how's that work again? If it's whoever's close without going over, right?
That is it. So we're going to go closest without going over on this.
Okay. So I'm gonna say because I think the Switch was $299.99 when it came out.
This is correct.
Okay, I am a god at remembering things. I was poor when I bought it, so I felt that when I bought it. Uh, I'm gonna go. I think this is gonna be a little bit more expensive because of like
Fair guess.
how the economy is. It's nicer, and I think they want to pack a little bit more power. I'm hoping. Me hoping.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Oh, it'd be rough if it was the same amount of power.
Oh, it's gonna. I mean, not just a little bit more power. I think it like because they're competing with like this Steam Deck, right? I think it's gonna be a little bit either a little bit more or a little bit less weak, like as strong as a Steam Deck. That's what
I
they
think it's
should
going to be
aim at.
much weaker than a Steam Deck, personally.
It probably will be because Nintendo, but they'll make magic
Yeah.
out of it, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Your first party games are going to be excellent on there
And a,
with
s-
whatever hardware
and a
they have.
Steam Deck's about 400.
Correct.
So I'm gonna slice the middle. I'm gonna say 349.99.
Yeah, and then I think that's a fair guess, but actually I'm gonna go a little bit further than that. I'm saying they're pushing it all the way to 400. I'm gonna put my guess in at 399.99 at this.
So you want to go 400 because I think a base PS5 right now. I think that's 400, right? And the pros taking the
It could
500.
be.
I think the
Yeah.
pros taking the $500 spot. So that's
Yep.
I think that's a big ask, especially they're like, hey, it's a weaker machine than like a PlayStation 5, for example. And you're like, but we want the same price. Now, granted,
Yeah,
it's Nintendo and they can honestly do whatever they want,
they sure can. Yeah,
but
and I fully expect a weaker model to come out within the next year and a half, and that just to be your 299 or 349 model. That's kind of where I see this going. With the step out that we saw with the Switch of the Switch Lite coming out a few years later, I think they're going to move a lot faster on different versions of the hardware now. But yeah, I we'll see how that goes.
what's the like fuck you price? Like, remember when Sony came out? They felt like they were swinging the biggest swinging dicks in town because the PS2. They walked
Yeah,
around that stage. They said PS3 $599.99. Everybody was like,
yeah,
"Ooh,
wild.
what is the Switch 2 price?" Like Nintendo, like every time a console manufacturer gets cocky because they effectively won the last generation, they usually fumbled the ball the next one. You saw
Yeah,
it with PS2 into PS3, Wii into Wii U, and Xbox
Wii
360
U
into
into Switch,
Xbox
where we
One.
have the amazing Wii U, and they come out with some dog ass trash like the
Yeah,
Switch.
with all the
Yeah.
look, I'm just saying, I've been playing video games with analog sticks for a long time. I never experienced analog drift until 2018.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. I will actually say that they did fumble quite a bit on the literal, like, hardware of that machine. Pretty wild,
It's still
but
a problem. My wife, I
yeah.
mean, it's an old Switch now. We got it during pandemic era. The Switch Lite,
Hmm.
her right stick has Joy-Con drift on Switch Lite. Fun fact about the Switch Lite: you can't change the Joy-Cons out.
Oh, yeah. But, does it, resolve through the system
It
settings
does
or no?
not. I've tried doing
That
the
sucks.
recalibration. I've tried alcohol and all that. I'd have to send it into Nintendo, and she's like, "I don't wanna do that. That's too much effort."
Yeah, I feel that, especially, for a game console that she's probably not playing as much because that woman is just obsessed with Marvel Rivals at this.
No, she started that new, Sims-like game, Inzoi.
Inzoi,
Yeah,
the one in which you can, get drunk and run over your children.
they
Yeah, that's
already
a
patched that out.
boo.
I'm saying leave it in. It's called
Yeah,
simulation, damn it.
I mean, the game is all about wild simulation. It's kind of such a weird, fun game that I think they should really just allow you to do anything, but whatever.
Alright, so for those
Um
keeping track at home, I said price, 349.99. Jarvis is saying, Nintendo wants your money. and they're going to take it up to $399.99.
And for the fuck you price, I think the only thing they could reasonably do as a big, big price would be 450. I can't see them pushing up to 500 for a Switch
I
2
couldn't see
release.
it unless it came with like there will probably be a bundle that might get you
Yeah,
up
yeah,
there if they go at the $400 price, but it would have to be like extra set of Joy Cons and a game, maybe,
yeah.
and like
Something
maybe a
like
foot
that.
rub. I don't know, but
Who
like
knows?
yeah, I think anything over 400 is like ooh no,
Yeah,
because yeah,
I'm walking at that
yeah,
point.
because the Switch at the end, yes, you can dock it. It is at its heart a mobile console. Like it
Yeah,
is mobile
yeah,
console first.
yep.
So
And
they got to keep that in mind.
they are also gonna be trying to imply that people will not only play it off the dock, but will use the little terrible kickstand that they probably no, the kickstand was good
No,
on the
yeah, the
newest
kickstand
version of
looks
the
good. It's
Switch.
like it's because now they have like the full
The
like
full back,
yeah, it's
yeah,
not that
but
little
then it's
thing
got a
that
little
I
cutout.
lost in 2018 and like the back of my Switch where that little kickstand is supposed to be because I still have my launch 2017 kick not the kickstand Switch. There's
Still has a
just
kickstand, lost
there's
Switch.
I had it for a long time. It was just snapped. And it's
Yeah,
just a little square in the back where you can see my SIM card. And I'm like, I hope that doesn't fall out.
it's
And
renewed.
here we are in 2025, still hasn't fallen out.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, they fixed it as recently with the OLED Switch as well. That had a really solid kickstand, and looks like they learned their mistake on that
Yeah,
one.
and if you
So,
look at the Switch 2 announcement trailer, it looks like they took the OLED one
yep,
or a variation of it at least.
yeah, and then just trimmed it. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Now let's go into a equally not quite as consequential to what I really care about with the Switch, which is games, but the actual launch date. I'll go first on this one. I'm going with the start of the next quarter. So, the our current fiscal quarter is going to be, the start of the Switch 2 launch. That's April and ends in June. I think it's going to be July 11th. I think they're going right for that big summertime push. 4th of July launch would be insane. Just really odd timing. So I'm going to go 1 week after that.
Uh, I could see that. Also, screw you for making me have to quickly Google what the quarters were before you explained it. So I'm not a money man, people. Do not trust me if I say this will make you a lot of money. Know that I am
Yeah,
grifting you
walk
at that
away.
point.
Yep, guaranteed.
But I think isn't it actually like more beneficial to release before the end of a quarter so you get that like boon right there at the end of the quarter that carries over in the next quarter. So when you project your
So
financials that like with your like shareholders, they're like, we
yeah,
made
so
lots
you
of
would
money this
be
quarter.
you'd be getting all of your sales starting out going into the next quarter. It's just not what I expected this.
So there was that leak, and the reason we're guessing in summer time frame, which is a weird time for a console to release. But then again, the Switch did release in March when it came out.
Yep.
So
Even weirder time,
and yeah,
honestly.
honestly, I remember when the first half of the year was sacred, nothing came out,
Yeah.
and you were just like, I guess I'll
You were
play
just
this game
playing
I
your
got for
Christmas
Christmas.
games.
Yep.
Huh?
All it was. But now, ever since Dying Light came out in January and sold gangbusters, everybody's like, let's move our dates up. Stop
Yeah.
it. I want to play all my games in like a 3-month time span. Please don't
Yeah,
do
I
that to
want
me. I'm an
one
adult
Assassin's
now.
Creed game a year coming out on in November, so that I can wait for it to go on sale in December, and then just play it for maybe a week. But I will plan to play it through the front of the year.
Yeah, you never will.
Oh,
Uh, so I'm gonna go. Oh, sorry, I was getting to a point. The reason we're
oh yeah,
guessing in the summer is because there was a very credible leak that was put out to the game industry that some people have backed up that they are planning to launch the Switch 2 in the summer around June, July timeframe.
yeah,
Originally, I was definitely going to shoot for like, we're going for them holiday big bucks
yeah.
because I just, that's what every other console does. But again, Nintendo.
They do what they want.
And this guess is more of a joke. I'm going to technically guess the financial quarter right before yours, and I'm guessing
Okay.
June 24th. And there is no significance to that date for Nintendo. But there's a lot
Yeah,
of significance to that date for me because that is
absolutely.
when Death Stranding 2 comes out, and they know I spent $250 on that collector's edition of Death Stranding, and they don't want
Yeah.
me playing it. They're like, "No, you're gonna play like Metroid Prime 4." Damn it!
Yeah, well, obviously, I think they're gonna be, this goes into our next guesses, but obviously Death Stranding 2 is gonna be a launch game for the Switch too.
Yeah,
So,
no shot.
it's gonna
No
look
shot.
so good on there.
I mean,
We're
I would
we've been
love
massively underselling the Switch 2's hardware. It's gonna run like the craziest Republic of Gamers, game. It needs, like, cooling systems going into it just to take it off the dock.
and it weighs 25 pounds.
Yeah, it's gonna be, about as, dangerous to your health as what was the, console or the not the console, but the portable handheld that you would put directly in front of your
Virtual
eyes and
Boy.
overheated so much? Yeah. Yeah, the Virtual
And it was
Boy.
all red, which had to be great for your eyes.
Yeah, no, that is definitely, responsible for some, late stage, cataracts for millennials around our age.
Uh, the Virtual Boy is before my time. That
You're
was
not
like
that much older. You're only
Virtual
4
Boy
years
was
older
like an
than me.
NES era, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're poor, so you get things late.
Oh, yeah, I never
Feel
had a
that?
Virtual Boy. That's fair. No, that's fair.
Yeah, me either.
Like,
Because it was terrible, so after it came out, nobody kept buying it.
yeah,
I never even saw someone with a Virtual Boy, to be honest.
I've never seen one in real life either, I don't think.
Yeah.
I haven't
No.
looked either. I probably walked past them and just ignored it.
Yeah, could've, 'cause it does look like a little shitty knockoff of a, portable handheld or gaming device.
Right.
Now, moving on, do you wanna do trailer guesses or launch game guesses first?
Um, let's do trailers.
Okay.
I wanna go with trailers. Let's do trailers. I think those are more fun because launch games, we
Yeah,
kinda know how Nintendo launches kinda go.
badly. Boringly. Uh, hey, we went over in our lost audio. We did a nice, fun game in which we listed. I had Josh try to list out the launch games for the Switch. Guess what, folks? They suck. They suck hard. With the exception of Breath of the Wild, they were all pretty much misses. Breath of the Wild and Shovel Knight re-releasing on the Switch.
And I Am Setsuna, that's supposed to be a decent game. There was no
If
bangers,
you've
though.
never played it, then it can't have been that good.
I mean, I
We've
there's a lot
had
of games I haven't played.
We have had 8 years to try this game out, neither of us have touched it. I think it's been known as a solid C+. plus. So,
Yeah, but launches never
uh,
have the best games. Who really
no.
wants to go play Resistance: Fall of Man? You might wanna play the
There are always
sequels,
some exceptions.
but you never wanna play, like, the original launch games.
Perfect Dark Zero, all I wanna play.
That launch?
Sure was.
Oof. Big
Yeah,
woof.
big miss. Especially when you're launching it alongside Cameo, a, superior Rare game.
Wasn't Cameo
Uh,
a Xbox original? Or am I thinking something different?
I think you're thinking of something different.
Okay.
It is, yeah, that was a, Rare game made for the 360, but
And I remember when I thought the 360 was gonna fail. I was, like, in 5th grade, so don't at me. I didn't know better. I was like, I knew one person who had an Xbox. There was probably more, but I didn't have a lot of friends, but I knew one person with an Xbox. So I was
yeah.
like, other than Halo, like, what does an Xbox have? You know what I'm saying? PS2 is where it's at. PS3 is gonna slay. It's getting Metal Gear Solid 4. It's gonna be the best.
$5.99.
I didn't have a concept of money. I was like, that's a number.
Alright. Let's go into trailers. Let's just do, we'll go back and forth on these, but you go ahead and give me one of your first trailer guesses that we're gonna be seeing April 2nd.
Okay, so it's Nintendo. We definitely need a platformer in the works. When Switch 1 came out, we knew Mario Odyssey was coming later. I think we're getting another platformer trailer. I don't think it's going to be a Mario game though, because Nintendo's been going really hard lately on a certain character. And I think we're going to get a new 3D Donkey Kong game. I think were they Donkey Kong like Country? Who were the other 3D ones? Like
No,
DK64.
Yeah, it's just DK64. So
Is
Donkey
that the
Kong
only
Country is your
3D one?
yeah, yeah, and then your Banjo-Kazooie kind of, feels like it, but yeah,
That's
you're,
crazy.
uh, you're just looking at Donkey Kong Country, and then, even the other ones like Tropical Freeze and the re-released one on the Switch, those are all side-scrolling Donkey Kong games.
Yeah, I think it's time, especially since no one wants to bite on making a new Banjo-Kazooie game except
Mm.
when Nintendo made Tears of the Kingdom, when they basically made Legend of Zelda nuts and bolts.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think there's a gap in the market that needs to be filled with little, bear-like gorilla creatures collecting a lot of things.
Yeah, and our quick peek at Mario Kart 8.5 or Mario Kart 9 shows a redesigned Donkey Kong. So I think that could be going into it. So I will also say that is one of my guesses. I fully expect a Donkey Kong game to be announced on April 2nd with the Switch 2 as one of their big games. Not, we're going through our announced trailers and stuff, not necessarily our launch release games. These are kind of launch window.
Yeah, some of them
uh,
might be launch games, some of them might be a 2026 game. Like,
Even further,
what's the
I think
launch window for a Switch 2? Is it just the rest of this year?
I
Because
think it's probably maybe a year and a half. So
I wouldn't say
if
a
we're
year and
saying,
a half.
well, I mean, I think that's what they're gonna do. I'm saying from this date, a year and a half.
Okay, like the trailers they will
Yeah,
show like maybe a year and a
yeah,
half out. I could see that,
yep.
especially when they're
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, I could see that.
Now, I will actually go into my next one because I'm gonna immediately refute what I just said. I think they're gonna show a trailer for a Zelda game that's probably not gonna come out till 2027 at the earliest.
I second that that's the next time we see a Zelda game, mainly because
A new Zelda game, I
yes,
wanna
yes,
say.
I
Yeah.
agree. I second this. I don't think they'll show it here, but that is definitely in the works because I don't know if you've looked at the new Nintendo News app they announced at the Direct.
I
They
have not.
did that whole Direct at the end. Miyamoto comes out says, "We've got a news app. We'll cover this later." But in that news app, they announced a new Zelda live action movie for
Hmm.
March 27th, 2027.
Yeah, I that's kinda how I feel like our big Zelda reveal is gonna go. I feel like that's gonna be a stinger. It's gonna be
It's
a
gonna be
sword
them. It's
shink.
the Metroid Prime 4 logo that we saw
Exactly.
pre-pandemic, I think.
Yeah, yeah, 2019 possibly. Wild, wild.
Oh,
And yeah,
okay.
what's your next
My
trailer
next
guess?
one, they had to revamp my list, and by revamp it, remember, oh snap, a lot of my games just got announced at that direct. Now, I could take an easy answer. I think, we're going to see a actual trailer for oh no, they wouldn't do that because that would just a I was gonna say an actual trailer for a Pokemon game, like a new
Oh,
mainline.
yeah. Yeah, I don't feel like that's coming anytime soon.
But, Nintendo used to do this weird thing with, their games, like, usually a Pokemon game has never launched on a Nintendo console, it's always come later.
Yeah,
But they've had weird freaking spin-offs. Remember Pokemon Pinball and how that was
I
the
sure
only
do.
Pokemon game until Ruby and Sapphire came out?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get, like, the weird Pokemon spin-off game get
Okay,
announced
so
on
like
April
a
2nd.
Snap, a Pinball,
Snap,
and
Pinball, I would even go as far to say as, like, the mystery dungeon games.
okay.
Like,
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
that's not get the badges, fight the gym, fight the Elite Four,
Yeah.
gotta catch catch them all.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. I could see them trying to, put something like that on the Switch 2 pretty soon before a big mainline release comes out, especially because 'cause they're gonna wanna read the room on Z to A sales, which online community seems pretty solid on Z to A right now. Pokemon, so it's gonna sell well. It looks just as bad as all Pokemon games do in the modern era. Go back to a 2D art style, it looks so much better at this point.
Yeah,
But
like Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, right?
no, not like that. Not this half-ass attempt to update it, but they don't want to spend all the time doing it. Those games are truly terrible. Or Pokemon games, I guess. They're not that bad, but
It's not my generation. The first 3 generations are mine, they're the ones I will always have nostalgia for. And really, whatever generation you kind of came in is usually like your favorite.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Oh,
and go
actually,
ahead.
I also want to include, I think, Let's Go Johto.
Oh, okay.
I know like the Pokemon Go craze is gone, and they've sold off to like Saudi oil empires now for
Yep.
that. But I would like that. I would like a Let's Go Johto. I enjoyed Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. They were just fun
I
and pretty.
didn't play it at all. You know, they miss me almost entirely with these games. I just don't think they've progressed at all since I played them back in the day. So
Try
I
Arceus,
don't care about Pokemon.
Arceus,
Yep,
Arceus.
I played Arceus. It was fun.
It was
Didn't beat
different.
it.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was like, okay, I get this now, and I was
Yep.
like, I don't need to touch this anymore.
C to A looks a little bit better than better to me, just because I think overall they're making enough changes to the active esque uh, of the battle system that I'm actually much more interested because they have those active cooldowns going on. You get to move the character around. I like all of that. So we'll see.
All right, what's your next trailer?
My next trailer. Now I'm just gonna get into the weird realm, and I'm gonna say Star Fox Adventures 2.
Ooh, that's
Yeah, it's not. Yep.
that's pretty. That's out there. I don't think Nintendo ever wants to touch Star Fox ever again. I also think they didn't want to touch Metroid ever again, but people kept
I
bothering
was gonna
them.
say, can we clip this for next week when it's like all Star Fox games on the launch?
If I can speak things into existence by being a Debbie Downer on it, I will be a Debbie Downer about everything. I will be the most negative person you've ever met, and you would love me for it because all your
Yeah.
dreams would come true.
Not much to say there. That's one of my hopeful ones. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm just putting it in there because this list is for me and no one else.
Adventures was the like action platformer, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was like
you're
a
moving
Zelda game.
around. Uh-huh, exactly. You got some puzzly stuff. It was very fun. A lot of different gameplay elements going into it. Fun game overall, and I would like to see a return to that.
I would probably poke it pretty hard just
Yeah,
because I think I'd prefer that over a regular like Star Fox on the rail shooter. I
yeah,
tried
they're pretty
six,
boring.
yeah, like yeah, this was definitely like somebody's favorite game in the
Yeah,
90s. I'm
yeah.
like,
64 it's good. It's fine for its time.
yeah, it's just the 64 had so few games, it's like it's all you had, bud. All right, so for mine, during the Wii U era, when all the developers sent back their dev consoles for the Wii U, like Switch lost, like Nintendo, like started having very little like major third parties in there. Like you weren't getting the big Ubisoft games, big Activision, EA. I mean, I think Ubisoft actually stayed relatively loyal. And
Yeah, I
they
think
put out
so.
all the collections and all their smaller games on Switch. But I think they want to show that they've got enough power and a decent enough system that some of these bigger places like Activision, which is now owned by Microsoft. So actually, I
But
think this,
Microsoft is playing with everybody.
yeah, I think they, and I think we'll see that. So that's kind of what like we're gonna see something come back, like something that's already on other consoles that is like a big multiplayer game, like Fortnite's already on Switch, but like maybe like Sea of Thieves. I think Sea of Thieves
Okay,
would make a
yeah,
great Switch game, right?
absolutely.
Something like that's going to come. So for points to count, we'll say it's Sea of Thieves, but I guarantee you, like they're going to show face, like, hey, look, we've got third party support on
Yeah,
launch.
some big third-party multiplayer game, I think is kinda where you're hinting at.
They launched Master Chief Collection on the Switch before PlayStation.
Ooh, that'd be painful and amazing just to see that and how probably poorly it would be optimized, just on a guess.
I mean, I imagine you could run all of those. You just take out the
Y
anniversary edition of
yeah,
two and leave it the original two,
yeah,
and just scale back four a lot. And I think you could run those games on a upgraded Switch.
hopefully. Hopefully, it has at least enough power to run some old-ass Xbox games on it, but again, it's Nintendo. They'll make whatever decision they want to, and we'll just buy it anyways.
This is true.
For mine, I'm gonna go for this is a re-release. It's more of a remake, and it's more of a remake of a remake. I'm gonna go with a Wind Waker HD remake. It's definitely sitting somewhere over in the Nintendo vault, and Switch 2 would be a great time to launch out a big Zelda release for a game that people have a lot of love for, myself included.
And it's just easy brownie points and
Yeah,
easy sales. Like they definitely had that game done. Like when they released Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, like so quickly together, like the remasters on Switch.
yeah.
Everybody's like, HD version is 100% coming, right? And there's like,
Again, no Twilight Princess on the Switch.
you can definitely play Twilight Princess on the Switch.
There's not like a HD remaster or anything like that on the Switch.
Oh, is it just a straight port?
I don't even think that exists. You have
Um,
Skyward Sword, but
really?
yeah.
I 100% believe they did both of them. That's crazy.
Nope.
Well, if they
You can
wanted
play
to,
it on the Nvidia Shield in 2017.
huh?
Yeah, exactly. I
Okay.
believe the Nvidia Shield was a streaming game
No, I know what
thing.
it was, but that's a I would never put like picked a Nintendo game be on
Yeah,
that
no,
list.
me either. But yeah, nope, never been on the Switch because I would have played it endlessly already.
Yeah, with but like Wind Waker coming out, that's just easy money and just lets them buy time until they can have their next big game. And I wouldn't see
Yeah,
that coming out this year. That would probably be a next year thing.
yeah, I agree with that. You could possibly release, your Zelda remake in the holiday season. We'll see.
Okay, and my last trailer, and I can't use the one I used before from the first failed recording of this podcast because it was Tamagotchi Life 2, which we now
Correct.
know is Tamagotchi Life Living on the Island,
Living the life.
Living the Life, Death Stranding 2 on the beach, something weird like that. Uh,
Animal Crossing, Death Stranding, they could go together on the beach. You have that pelican on the beach. I don't know. There's something there. I'm
yeah,
working on
Kojima's beating you to it. That's how we're going to get the
it.
Death Stranding on Switch 2 announcement. Um, what would be good? Now I'm kind of caught myself here. So Nintendo loves, especially in the Switch era, they love showing off JRPGs, and they
Oh
still
yeah.
have a good relationship with Square.
Oh yeah.
So I think we will definitely see another like new IP HD 2D game. Not like the
Okay.
Dragon Quest HD remake, not an
Yeah.
Octopath Traveler 3. I'm like talking like how like there was Triangle Strategy and all those, right? Like
Yeah.
we're gonna get like one of those. Like it's gonna look very pretty, and we're all like, wow, that looks good. And like most of us aren't gonna touch it because we forget about it
Yeah. I
because it's
play
gonna
them
have
all. They're all very good.
but it's gonna have a awful name that makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're gonna go, that's pretty, and we're gonna move on. That would be the last one, I guess.
Fair enough. Now with that, let's go right into our expected launch games. Since you just went last, I will open up with kind of a layup here. Mario Kart 8.5/9. Fully expect that to be a launch game for the Switch 2. It would be wild at this point for them to lead with the teaser trailer showing that game exclusively and being like, coming out 2026. So I fully expect that.
That or it's just a straight like, hey, we're just bringing 8 Deluxe over.
But I mean, we have a different looking Donkey Kong. It can't be the same game. That's impossible.
Well, maybe.
We'll see.
Let's see.
What do you have for launch game?
So for launch games, like one of the trailers I listed earlier, the Donkey Kong game, I want that to be a launch game. Like
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think they need to launch. I think they should launch the platform. Not need to, but they should. If they're not going to launch with a Zelda game and Metroid, just I don't care how much people love it. It does not have the draw like Nintendo gamers think it does.
Yeah,
It does
no.
not sell what maybe it should. I mean,
It
I've
sells
only really
well
ever
in
played the
Western audiences, but not anywhere else in the world, especially your Prime games.
yeah, 'cause I've only like the only Prime game I played is I played about half of Prime 1 Remastered. I really want to finish it. I was really digging it, and then something
Such a good game.
something else came up. Classic story. I got away from it and just haven't gone back to it because I loaded it up and I was like, don't remember what I was doing.
Yeah, and that's a very difficult game. And any search action game is going to be hard to come back into unless it has like a lot of good systems for helping you track what was going on. But the more good systems it has for helping you track what's going on, the less fun it is. It takes away a lot of the mystery and the search actioniness of the game.
Nope. I disagree. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown does it great.
It has too many trackers on its map. I don't need that much. Let me explore.
Oh, I mean, you place the trackers. You can turn that on. I played exploratory mode, and
Yeah,
like you would
but
just
it does tell you which direction to go. I literally don't even want that.
oh,
Yeah,
does it tell you which
too
direction to
much.
go?
It tells you what
Oh,
direction. It like points out, "Hey, go this way first." Yeah,
oh,
I want less. I want animal well.
I did not realize that when I was playing it. I was just out there getting lost because I was like, I'll stumble on something. Either something will kill me in one hit, meaning I can't go that way, or I'll find the way
Yeah,
I'm supposed
no,
to go.
it's. I'm not saying that you can't include these things. I'm just saying I don't like them. So,
That's fair.
and animal well is actually one of my guesses. I think that is going to be an indie release on the Switch too.
Is it not on Switch One?
No,
Really?
I don't think so.
That little potato of a game? By
Did you
potato,
play
I
that game?
by potato I mean that game is like can run on anything.
Yeah, but
That would
oh,
be
no, it did. It did
yeah.
release
About to
on
say
well, I still expect it at this point as a Switch 2 HD remake. No, I don't know. I just want some sort of indie platformer popping up on there.
so.
They did it with Shovel Knight originally.
It might be hard because they're not giving a lot of indie developers like the big ones, like your wow, who made Hades? So I can't think of their name. Supergiant, like your big
There you
ones
go.
like that, like Supergiant. They might have gotten dev kits, but a lot of like indie developer dev kits, they're not releasing until like they said later in the year for like their three-prong release strategy.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I don't know like what the numbers like what makes you eligible for like us sending you one versus whatever. Like, like Capcom, Konami, they all definitely have Ubisoft definitely have dev kits.
Yep, and Capcom and Konami not likely to put very much out at all initially, I would say.
Yeah, but when Capcom comes out, they're gonna come out swinging.
Do they have anything really great on the Switch?
Capcom?
Yeah,
Capcom.
just I'm asking a question.
Monster Hunter?
Yep, that's one.
The other Monster Hunter? Devil May Cry HD collection? You put me on the spot?
Yeah, I'm saying, like, I don't really think they made a lot of really good originals, and for some reason, Monster Hunter Rise is revered as a, well, because it was their mobile development team, it's not a mainline release for them.
I mean,
Which is crazy because it's significantly better than World for me, at least for hooking me in.
oh,
World is so much prettier.
technically Capcom did release a lot of their major games as they were coming out, but they were that. Remember when Switch was doing the Cloud initiative?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, so, like, you were getting Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, I think, but it was like, you have to play it via cloud, and I'm not
Yeah,
doing that. That defeats the
no.
purpose of me having the Switch.
And I heard that it just didn't run very well, but we'll
Look,
see.
yeah, the Switch has awful internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably runs as good as the store does. Yeah, and looking at like a list now, it's like a lot of the fighting collections, like
Yeah.
ports of old Resident Evils, uh, any remaster basically looks like it
Yeah, they
made
didn't
it.
really do that much for they don't play that much with Nintendo, despite Nintendo having some of the best Capcom games.
This is true. Yeah, it's all like I'm looking through. It's like fighting collection, legacy
Yeah.
collection for Battle Network, Mega Man collection,
Yep.
Resident Evil collection, Onimusha's 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rise.
Definitely not getting the new Onimusha on the Switch. That would be wild, but I'll take it.
That would be insane. Yeah, it's looking like Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2
That is definitely not a big release for
Are
Capcom.
that's like the only two looks like
Yeah,
I would say non-repackaged games.
wild.
That yeah, that's actually insane. I would have, thought they did more.
I know you came at me with, like, Capcom? They didn't have big releases on the Switch,
Well,
bro? And I was
they
like,
had one of the
"Oh,
biggest releases on the Switch, I would say, with Monster
well,
Hunter
yeah."
Rise.
Uh, yeah,
But
it's very big, but
okay,
not a lot of
I'll
other
I'll
ones.
take that one. That one's on me. I'll take that one. That's my L. I'll hold it dear.
What other games you got coming out at launch?
So, yeah, 3 games at launch. I already said Donkey Kong.
Yep.
I I'm gonna take the easy points. I'm gonna go get my layup here. The gimmick game's coming.
Yeah,
Your one,
yeah,
two
you
switch, your snipper clips,
1, 2,
whatever the
3,
hell.
4 switch.
Yeah, but I want them to do it right. Make it a WarioWare game so it can actually be fun and creative and you really like if you're gonna add because they're gonna add a bunch of new gimmicks to this console that are gonna be used like 2 or 3 times. You're gonna go, okay, that's neat. And you're like, I never want to use my Switch Joy-Con as a mouse again.
Yeah, yeah,
But WarioWare will make it fun every time. They'll be a great party game.
absolutely. And, speaking of the possibility of the Switch having mouse features, I think we're going to see a potential launch game in Mario Paint. I think we might see another game like that where you're using the mouse feature because that's, on the SNES, that's where you're using your, Super Nintendo mouse peripheral.
I'll take that. I don't know if that's a joke guess, but
No, I think they will fully release something like that if the mouse feature is real.
I don't think this. So I'll raise that. So this isn't a launch game, obviously. Mario Maker 3, if it has a mouse feature for making your
Oh, yeah.
levels,
That would be next level, literally,
that would
for
be
Mario making
really
games.
smart.
Yeah.
All right, and I need one more from me, I guess.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
So people have been bringing back games a lot, mainly Capcom. We got a lot of announcements of them bringing things back, like Okami's coming back, things like that. And there's one series that I've never had the chance to play, which I think would sing if they did a full redraw into HD and just kind of remade it. Is Beautiful Joe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's another one of those really great cartoony era when Capcom was just doing whatever they wanted and allowed, Kamiya come in and do whatever he wanted.
And those are like it used to be like Monster Hunter and that and Beautiful Joe were my black holes of like Capcom. Like I've touched everything else. Like I've touched all your Street Fighter. Oh, I have not touched all your Street Fighters. Don't say that. But I've
Yeah,
played all
that's
the Street
yeah,
Fighters and like Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, like
I've
all
touched
those.
it.
I Ryu, come here, boy. I like that beard on you now, Ryu.
Yeah, yeah.
But I never played Beautiful Joe, and it looks like a me ass game every
Yeah,
time I've ever
absolutely.
seen it.
Plus, it came out on Nintendo hardware, so it's not that much of a leap for them to, get back into that. I don't know if there's anything holding Capcom from doing re-releases or anything with that title. We'll see. But I would absolutely be into Beautiful Joe, trilogy collection. I think there's 3 of them
I
originally.
I think there's two and like a DS game if I'm or a PSP
Yeah,
game or
yeah.
something like that.
There's definitely 2 mainline releases that were
Yeah, because
both,
two had Dante from
GameCube
Devil May
and
Cry. One of
yep.
the biggest
Yeah, he was
selling
great.
points for that game.
So good.
Uh,
Another Kamiya, well, not Kamiya character, but, character that Kamiya did a lot of good work with.
so that's my pie in the sky. Like that's like I just would love this to happen type game. We're guessing.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, he did originally write Devil May Cry. I had to fact check myself
Yep,
on that. With Noboru Sugamura.
I believe you. And what's your last one?
Last one's just gonna be Pokemon Zeta A. I think that will be a launch game on the Switch. I think that it's gonna have a, launch date with that and just be a really solid game to go along with that. But also, I think it's going to kind of skirt both realms like Breath of the Wild did. I think it's going to release on both the Switch and the Switch 2.
I also think that, and
Yeah, as independent versions of each other.
'cause this kind of goes into what our next topic was going to be, so we can go ahead and start that for the
Yeah,
direct that happened
yeah,
uh
let's go.
yesterday. Quick math. Yesterday was
2
not
days
2
ago.
days ago.
Yep.
Uh
March
they
27th,
showed off
Nintendo Direct.
a new trailer for Vita A. And so the first one I was like, "Ooh, I don't know about this." I saw the second trailer, I'm like, "Oh, this looks good. This actually looks fun."
Yeah,
Like
a lot of really fun features that kind of should have been instituted, I would
15
say,
years ago.
yeah, around the Wii era. Like, that's when your Arceus and, Zeta A, that's when those should have been that type of game should have been coming out.
Yeah, but Nintendo.
Nintendo and Pokemon Company.
Yeah, also bad. Game Freak. They don't like shaking the mold, and when they do, they
No.
fuck it up.
Yeah, because they don't need to. The more they change it, the further they get away from what makes people buy it, I guess.
Yeah, because I saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, I actually like I think this looks really cool." It looked a lot better too. Maybe that's just me misremembering, or when I saw that first trailer, I was going in with the biases of Scarlet and Violet in my brain and how just doo-doo that game
Yeah.
ran and looked. Like, I picked that game back up, I was like, "I'm gonna go through and beat this." The game is fun.
Yeah, they didn't fix anything with its optimization, though, in the years since it's been released.
Yeah, and I was
Crazy.
I was running around like, "Why is this game sub 20 frames
Yeah,
and
yeah,
nothing's happening?"
it's crazy, and then you just get, like, pop-ins of trees and people constantly, the backgrounds look terrible.
It
Yeah,
crashes very often.
yes, yep.
Like, it was bad time. So maybe I think this is definitely a Switch 2 game, at least this year, because we know it's coming out this year.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that was fully out.
so I'm just gonna do a run through of like the big things they kind of announced, and these
Yeah,
kind of
go ahead.
like anything that interests you to pop off on. So Dragon Quest 1+2 HD remake.
Fully expected,
Yeah,
but
but
good.
why do 3 first? Like, I'm not the biggest Dragon
I
Quest
don't know
guy.
why they actually did that first. It was probably just a matter of asking, "Hey, will people be as interested in Dragon Quest 1 and 2?" They know that 3 is, it was a pretty fire game, especially when people go back and talk about classic uh, JRPGs. They're talking about Dragon Quest 3, and I think they were just going with that one first because it was a bigger one. It's like when they're re-releasing Final Fantasy games. Uh, you didn't get initial re-releases on 1 through 4. You got other games
Oh, I mean,
re-released.
you got 3. Yeah, a whole remake on like,
Yeah.
but the remakes. Are you talking about like recent remakes or like back when we played them on like
N
Game Boy Advance?
no, so yeah, I'm talking about just the more recent ones as well.
Oh, more recent ones. I think they just did all of them, like
Yes, they did,
pre
but I
10.
don't think 1 and 2 released first, but I think that's all it comes down to is what's gonna sell best. Keep going through the list.
All right. Rido remastered, another Atlas game getting remastered. Words.
Yep,
Patapon 1+2 replay. I'll definitely give that a try. I played the
that's
first
great.
one a lot. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. They had a whole gameplay trailer. You
Yeah,
have a chance
really
to watch that?
stilted and awkward gameplay trailer, but it looks neat.
It looks like Metroid Prime 1, but prettier, I
Yeah,
guess. That's
it
really
it
all I
look
got
well,
from
it
it.
looks like it looks similar to the remaster of Metroid Prime 1,
Do they look
which is crazy that it doesn't look that as better as it should, given the
is
amount
the
of time that has
remaster like
passed.
a big difference between the original?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it
If
really?
you've never seen the original, yeah, you should just look at some, side-by-side comparisons between 1 and the remaster.
Okay, they probably just remade it in the engine they're gonna use for 4 is what happened then.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay,
yep.
I was wondering, I was like, "Man,
And
this does not look like a game that is 20 years later." I was like, "Man, the
no,
Metroid
yeah, it
Prime
did not
game,
look that good
that
on
game might have
release.
been just held back by technology time. This thing aged well." I was That's more of a remake than it is a
Yeah,
remaster like they claim. Okay.
yeah.
Uh, One that you should definitely look at if you haven't seen the trailer yet, Eternal Life of Goldman. It
Oh, yeah.
like
I've been tracking that one for a while.
a Metroidvania where you're like an old man archaeologist with a cane that works like a
Yep.
pogo stick, and it
And
looks
it looks like you get
crazy.
to swap out different sections of the cane to do different things. I'm not sure if he's wearing a yarmulke or not, but it looks like he is in all the pictures, and I just love that as a part of his character design. It looks amazing.
And the
Hand drawn,
looks
just
gorgeous.
super cool game.
Yeah, that's like I think that might be a day one for me. That looks really fun. Uh, and just to be confusing, Tamagotchi Plaza
Yeah,
also had a
not
trailer.
not Tomodachi, but Tamagotchi.
So that I think that's funny. Again, the aforementioned Pokemon Legends, Rhythm Heaven Groove. I haven't looked into
Yeah.
it. Is that a just a remaster of the original? 'Cause I think the original was a
No,
Wii game, something
I'm
like that.
not sure actually. I think it's a new game though entirely. I don't think it's like a kinda re-release remaster of the new of a Rhythm Heaven. I think it's a new title in that. That's another one where I saw it and I was like, it's gonna miss me." If I have Patapon and other rhythm games and stuff, I'm probably not gonna go for a Rhythm Heaven game.
Yeah, I mean, my rhythm games, I like. I don't like when they have other elements into it. Like I like Guitar Heroes. I like Amplitude, things like that. I like more of the
Yeah.
score chasing.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't mind it so much. I have a fun time with Patapon. I also really enjoyed. I can't remember the name of the game at this point. Maybe it was Total Mayhem, but it was a League of Legends release game where you play as Ziggs and you're just bouncing around, causing explosions in rhythm with the really great soundtrack.
Oh,
But
that
yeah, yeah.
sounds pretty fun actually.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, all of the Riot Lab games honestly are really fun.
so you're a JRPG guy.
Absolutely.
You know a lot of JRPGs. Did you ever play the Saga Frontier series?
Nope, that one missed me. I don't even remember it coming up on my radar, like, when it was originally coming out, on the PlayStation. I did not yeah, I would see it in best of stuff later on, but I do not remember that game
Yeah,
coming
that
out
it
originally.
exists only as a name to me also. So if you're a
Yeah,
big Saga Frontier person, I'm sorry.
awesome.
But good for you. You're getting a
Yeah.
very pretty looking remaster.
Yeah, it looks neat. It's kind of in that HD 2D, not quite as painterly as many of the other games are in that, realm, but yeah, it's kinda sitting in that same era, and I like it.
Okay, and the one of the weirder announcements they made, the virtual game cards.
Yeah, very interesting.
So it looks like
Pointless, it seems, but cool.
I mean, so it's kind of neat. So you don't have to do like the primary secondary switch thing if you have multiple
Yes.
switches in the house.
Yeah, the
Uh
features of
but
it,
it
very
looks
cool.
like it's more like it looks to me from what just like when they showed the presentation where you can take a digital game and make into a virtual game card that you can then send across your
Yep.
family plan for up
Yeah,
to 2 weeks to somebody. Now, I
is
can't remember
really
if
neat.
you lose access to that game, which is probably the case for those 2 weeks.
Yeah, it has to be. Well, I don't know if you'll lose access or not.
You can
Oh,
but they say
boy.
you can claim access back at any time. So I
Yeah, so
imagine
you
while
probably
they
do
have it.
lose access then.
Yeah, but I think it's cool. So, I mean,
Yeah,
you get a bunch of people, friends on a Nintendo family plan. You all put in at that, well, I think it's 8 people for a family plan, something like that. You all
wild.
put in money to it, and then you can just have one of the biggest digital libraries you can on the Switch.
Yeah. Which, I put a lot of money into the eShop, into the not virtual console, but the virtual library of the Switch. So I appreciate that they're making it more shareable and also adding we were talking about this with the Switch too, that we wanted a just a better system for accessing and removing things, and this might go a good distance on actually making that a bit easier.
They just make the store work.
Yeah, that's all
I'm
we want.
just asking for the store to work at 10 frames per second. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That would be 10 times as fast and
Yep.
10 times reliable. It would still be shitty, but it would work. Then they announced uh 2 games for me. One of them maybe for you, maybe both for you. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots.
Not
I
for
don't know
me
if
at
you were a
all.
Hot Shots golf fan back in the day. That was a
No.
dope game on the PSP. It was also on PS2, PlayStation 1, but I had
Yeah.
the PSP one. I put
I
some
remember
time into
playing
that.
a demo of it, and I was like, "Yeah, this is fun," if I wanted to play golf.
Yep.
I never do.
It was great. It was great on mobile, like pop it out of my pocket and play. But I don't carry games in my pocket anymore, so who knows if I'll actually play
Need
it.
bigger pockets.
And then also Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which
Yeah,
looks
this one is
very
absolutely directly for me.
90s arcade beat 'em up action with some really gorgeous pixel art
Yep,
and
made by the same team that did the recent Ninja Turtles game. Uh,
say less.
and I'm actually because this is literally the most exciting thing about this Nintendo Direct for me, I'm gonna go through the list of characters.
Oh,
We
please
got
do.
Wolverine, Captain America, Venom, Spider-Man, Storm. That's all really great. That's really harkening back to those 90s side-scrolling Marvel games. But then we have Phyla Vell and Richard Rider Nova.
Yeah, I
2
saw
amazing choices.
because Vi Lavelle, that's a Captain Marvel person, I think.
Yes, I don't know that she ever gets called Captain Marvel, but yeah, she is,
He popped up in those
adjacent to.
books.
Yep, Marvel. Phyla-Vell is, frequent collaborator and member of Guardians of the Galaxy as well. Which, speaking of the Guardians of the Galaxy, the villain of this cosmic invasion is Annihilus. This is going to mean nothing if you're not a big comic book fan, but yeah, pretty cool to
Nice
see.
deep pulls.
Yeah, some dope storylines getting adapted here, and like you're saying, a gorgeous retro beat 'em up game.
I'm just glad Nova's getting some love. Nova does not get enough love nowadays.
Yeah, he's got like a long, luxurious mane of hair coming out of his helmet, which is a really fun bit of character design for him in this one.
So yeah, that game looks hell of fun. Because I did do
Yeah.
the Ninja Turtles one, Shredder's Revenge, and that was a lot of
Yes.
fun. I think
So
they
good.
also made the recent Power Rangers one,
I'm not sure. They could have.
Rita's
I heard
Revenge.
some myth things about that one, so I
Oh,
missed it.
really? It looked really cool. That
Yeah,
first trailer, I was like, "Oh, you got me kinda hyped."
yeah. The Megazord action all looked really cool, but yeah, I missed it. Maybe after this, I'll look into if that's a fun playable game.
And
I
then
love me a beat 'em up.
the last thing, there's 2 big announcements at the end. So one of them was Nintendo Today, which is an app you
Yeah,
can download on your cellular device. And it does have a jump scare in it when you load it up. Mario's head just pokes up from the bottom of your screen in the most HD Mario has ever been. Actually jump scared me. And
that's
then
funny.
it makes you like pick a theme like based off the video games and whatever. Like you can do Zelda, other Nintendo properties, Splatoon. And it's basically a calendar, a really cool looking calendar, first of all. And it gives you news based on the games you like from Nintendo.
Yeah,
But the first thing they announced on there was that Zelda movie coming out,
yeah.
which is a weird thing to like hide in your app that people really, I mean, it's a good way to like,
Get people to get on the app.
yeah, they're like, oh, they announced that on the app instead of this direct I just watched. Crazy. And now for probably the biggest announcement that happened on this direct.
The Pac-Man spin-off
Oh,
Shadow
I forgot to
Labyrinth.
talk about that.
You sure
Yes.
did. So I wanted to get that in before you
Fuck.
got to one more big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming out of what was the Prime series called?
Secret level.
Secret Level.
The
Yeah.
episode that confused us all.
So good, so creepy and deliciously gory. Yeah, why not a side-scrolling action game for Pac-Man?
Yeah, I'm about it because
Yeah.
they released that episode and then a week later they showed the trailer for the game at Game Awards. I'm like, feel like we should have swapped these
No,
around.
no, because then it would have ruined the surprise of
That's
that being a
true.
Pac-Man episode.
Yeah, that's true. Because that was I don't know, because the whole time I was like, is it Pac-Man?
Yeah, yeah, it's very neat the way they did Ghosts, and yeah, I love that episode. I think it was one of the if not my favorite of the series, definitely one of the best of that first
Like,
season.
the first bit of it, I was like, "Is this like an Oddworld game they're doing? 'Cause it's so dope."
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah, they
like
all have that kind of ugly odd world face.
but yeah, very excited for that. But
Okay, yes, but
the biggest
big critique.
announcement, I think, numbers-wise, that's done, Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream. So, if you don't know what Tomodachi Life is, it is
Which I didn't before last week or our record 2 days ago or 3 days ago.
a game where you take Miis that you've made and some that the game has pre-made, and you plop them in to an island or building of some type, and they just interact. And you can make them do different things like write songs where they will do the me voice and they'll sing the song you wrote and they'll build relationships. It's like Sims, but weirder and sillier with
Yeah,
me's.
yeah.
And it was on the 3DS, and boy, howdy, did people love this game.
You're noticing I'm not saying anything. I have negative feel or I have 0 feelings about this. These are completely neutral feelings.
That's fine because these are my wife. This is the only reason I have a 3DS in my house is it just has Tomodachi Life basically super glued in at this point. So when she gets a hankering for it, she goes and, does a 12-hour stint of it. And those games are, they're not our forte. This game is people are extremely excited because it got a lot of one of those like big bumps and like it's like notoriety way after it came out when like some streamers and YouTubers started making like let's play videos about it, and everybody's like, "What is this?" Because it lends
Yeah,
itself very well to that streaming habitat.
right.
Uh,
Very
but
clippable, memeable game.
the trailer for the separated trailer for this game, like outside of the direct, like if they repost them all, has more views than the Switch 2 announcement trailer
That's
from
funny.
a month ago.
Yeah, I
So
feel like that's a lot of, TikTok watching and all of that kind of and Instagram stuff leading people over there because it has been memed a lot
oh
already.
yeah, the big walking person. It was
Yeah.
that got me pretty good. You
It
wanted
looks
to
fun, it
talk.
looks funny, and it is definitely not my type of game at
It
all.
is not mine, but my wife will definitely talk my ear off about it, and she's gonna show me funny videos of the anime characters she made into the game and how they did silly things.
Good, good. That's what Nintendo's all about. Silliness.
But it apply it's their, like, demographic now. They have that huge cozy game demographic
Yeah.
that I think we're going to be seeing them leaning into a lot more. They showed more cozy games at that direct that we just had, like the Disney's Villain Cafe or, like, whatever, and another not Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons games. Like, they know their market now. So I think we're gonna see a
Yeah.
lot more of that. Well, wait till look. They're gonna make you a nice little fire emblem. They're gonna take all the combat out, and it's just gonna be a life sim, dating sim, and you're gonna play it.
Yeah, yeah. That'll be a good time.
I think it's all that's really I can say about the director. Do you have any like things you want to like throw out on it?
No, that's gonna do me on talking the, direct, and I think kinda wrap us up all together. How are you feeling right now about our first episode,
Yes, our
part 2?
100% first try at the first episode where we had zero problems that I've discovered yet.
Yeah, and, wanna say if you're hearing this, congratulations, but if this gets buried in the vault because there were audio problems again, go fuck yourself, Josh.
If you're
Gonna
hearing
be all
this,
your fault.
congratulations go to me.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're not hearing this, you can just say fuck you to me.
Yeah, if you don't hear this, say "fuck you."
Yeah, if you see me in the streets, just push me. Honestly, I
Yeah.
deserve it.
Yeah, Josh, you wanna go ahead and, push, some of your socials?
Right. So if any of you guys want to see what I'm doing, you guys can follow me on Blue Sky at Josh494. I think it's what .bluesky.com, how that works.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, but if you search Josh494 on Blue Sky, I'm the first things that pops up, luckily enough. Same, if you want to follow me on YouTube, it is also Josh494, or I have some videos you can watch. Follow me on Twitch at the same handle. In fact, if you just search Josh494, probably anywhere,
You'll hit him on somewhere.
you'll get me somewhere. How about you, Jarvis?
And For me, I don't care. I don't do a lot on social right now, but I will go ahead and plug our pod. That's You can find us pretty much everywhere at Pixel Pickers Pod. That's going to be on Blue Sky, on X, the Twitter platform. Uh, but if you want to reach out to us in a very direct way, or in a much less social way, you can also email us at pixelpickerspod@gmail.com. We'll be going through that and maybe reading out some stuff on air if we get anything particularly funny or nice. But we'll see how that goes and see what our response is like. But I think that's going to go ahead and wrap us up.
Oh, we got one
So,
more thing.
oh, go ahead,
As
please.
always, we every episode with a non-video game recommendation
Oh, I love it.
because
Yeah.
life exists outside video games, believe it or not. Go touch some goddamn grass.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And these recommendations this week are definitely not going to be video game related at all, right, Josh?
No, not at all.
All right. All right. So I'm going to recommend a Legend of Zelda metal album. Fuck. But seriously, I'm going to recommend Power, Wisdom, Courage by Fierce Deity. It's a limited release, short album of only 3 songs, still coming out to around half an hour, if not more, because they are all fun power metal slash a little bit of sludge and chug metal in there. And it's all made by one guy with a bunch of collaborators. And I love it. It's very fun. How about you, Josh? What have you got to recommend?
So for my recommendation this week, it's a kind of a niche one, but it expands. Don't worry. So my wife is a huge fan of the Naruto series, and this last Thursday we went down to Richmond, Virginia, at the Altria Theater, and we saw the Naruto Symphonic Experience. Now, there's a lot
Ooh.
of companies that do stuff like this where they will have a show or movie playing and a live orchestra or band playing the music from it. And for those of you who know,
Okay.
Naruto has like, if you've watched it, has very, I don't want to say unique, but a very stylized style of music. So they played things like the filler music and all the theme songs you could want, and it covered just the original Naruto series.
Nice.
And it was a blast. There were people cosplays as characters, singing the
Hell yeah.
songs, and it's not like a normal symphony where you sit there and you're quiet and respectful. No, they're like, "We want you to be loud. If you see a character you like or a moment you love, say something,
Scream.
get loud, be hype."
Yeah.
And it just was a fun atmosphere of a bunch of people who all love the same thing in one room, experiencing something cool. And the person who
That's
was
awesome.
on the samisen, I think, the Japanese kind of like
The ting
guitar,
guitar?
yeah, with the
Yeah.
big pick, she was
Yeah.
going ham. She was
Nice.
going ham. So that's my
She
recommendation.
was
If you
full Kubo and the 2 stringing it up.
exactly. So that's my
Nice.
recommendation. You don't have to go the Naruto one, but if you have a franchise you really love and you see they're doing a symphonic experience, whether that be Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, I think there's an Attack on Titan one in Atlanta later in the
Yeah.
summer that some of my friends are going to. I highly recommend you go and you'll have a great time. And
Yeah,
bonus,
I did one back in the day as well. That was a Lord of the Rings one, but it was much. This is God. I don't even know how long ago. It was a while ago, and it was pretty tame at the time. But I agree. They seem to be a lot more lively and interactive now.
well, mine was also for an anime and not for like a very serious movie. Mine was about an
True.
orange
True.
dude in a jumpsuit who does magic and calls himself a ninja.
Yeah, not a serious movie like the one about the little guys going having a birthday party and going on a trip and all this good
But
stuff. Nothing
they
bad
got
happens
hairy
after.
feet.
Yeah, I've only watched the first 15 and 20 minutes of that movie. I assume it's pretty good afterwards. Pretty chill. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be such a good one to see with live orchestration.
Oh yeah, it was so
That
good.
final
It was
charge
awesome.
into Mordor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. So we just did Fellowship.
right.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
think you
just
could pay a
watching
band
Fellowship.
enough to play all three in one
Yeah.
go.
I can't imagine trying to sit through that, but maybe like 3 nights in a row, do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show, or like Thursday through Saturday,
I
different nights,
I would
kind
do
of
it.
like an amazing concert set. Anyways, that's beside the point. All right. So this was the Pixel Pickers pod. This is Jarvis.
I'm Josh.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take us.